Nowadays, I think journalism has become a mouthpiece for the corporatocracy. Basically they all write for programs or media that is owned by big conglomerates, but I think it's so crucial to sort of twist it around because journalism, investigative journalism, has become criminalized. Like Julian Assange, who really does sort of get sort of investigative journalism out there, they're labeled criminals. They're criminals today. Even if you're critical, you actually are censored because, the advertising, you criticize the corporatocracy, but it's a corporatocracy that is sort of sponsoring the media, so it's a little bit of a tail eating its own head. It's like, yeah.
Belgijski redatelj Johan Grimonprez u Zagrebu je održao masterclass u sklopu Restartovog edukativnog programa, koji već godinama dovodi renomirane svjetske dokumentariste kao što su Joshue Oppenheimer, Kumjana Novakova, Ruth Beckerman i drugi. Tim povodom u Dokukinu KIC-a prikazan je njegov film Soundtrack za državni udar.
Riječ je o njegovom posljednjem remek dijelu za koje je zaradio i nominaciju za Oscara i u kojem iznosi jednu zapravo zaboravljenu epizodu Hladnog rata u kojoj se isprepliču džez i dekolonizacija i u čijem je središtu zapravo atentat na konganskog predsjednika Patricea Lumumbu, čime ujedno i obilježavamo 100. godišnjicu rođenja ove ikone antikolonijalne borbe.
The setting is 1960. We have the independence of 16 African countries, because what's also contextualized in the film is the 15th General Assembly, which is initiated by Nikita Khrushchev, where he invites all world leaders to actually join to talk about demilitarization and decolonization. And the decolonization resolution will be ratified. It's first initiated by Nikita Khrushchev, the then Soviet premier, and then will be ratified 14th December 1960. But what's happening also, the 16 African countries are admitted to the world body, and there's a global shift, a political earthquake happening in the General Assembly. And so East and West are trying to scramble to keep control of the General Assembly because suddenly the Global South gains the majority vote.
Grimonprezov film je specifičan i po tome što je u njega ukomponiran i džez kao jedan od aktera i kojeg je upravo američki State Department tadašnjeg predsjednika Dwighta Eisenhowera kroz nastupe crnih džez ambasadora poput Louisa Armstronga koristio kao sredstvo odvlačenja pažnje tijekom tajnih operacija CIA.
But what I found out is that when they send Louis Armstrong as a jazz ambassador to the Congo, it's exactly the moment where Belgium, and it's the government of Belgium, together in cahoots with President Eisenhower and the Eisenhower administration, that are plotting to assassinate its leader, that actually at the same moment they're sending Louis Armstrong as a jazz ambassador, but he's used as a cover to actually hush up what's going on.
No zahvaljujući Maxu Roachu i Abby Lincoln, džez je tada postao i sredstvo političke borbe protiv odluka State Departmenta.
There is also, for example, Max Roach and Abby Lincoln, and this is a concert. It's the concert which is the album We Insist Freedom Now, together with the Women's Writer Coalition, Maya Angelou and Rosa Guy, Maya Angelou the writer and Rosa Guy the playwright, that actually initiate a protest at the UN Security Council. And they will crash the Security Council and start screaming. And so here it's actually musicians initiating this rebellious act. And so it's also music as a political act, as a rebellious act, at the same time as a tool of propaganda. And so you have these two elements in the film. And so it's that, for me, this moment in history is that music was it's not just a soundtrack, it's a soundtrack to a political feature. It's where actually music was very much a political agent, a historical agent, and hence that I could not but make the music as a protagonist of the film.
I ono što nam zapravo Johanovi filmovi akutno demonstriraju je zapravo kako su kolonijalizam i imperijalizam itekako duboko ukorijenjeni u teksturu naših društvenih odnosa i kako se to neće promijeniti zapravo dok je kapitalistički sustav na vlasti i dok ne nađemo nekakav način da ga razmontiramo.
Za Grimonpreza kolonijalizam je samo mijenjao strategije i imena, ali nikad nije okončan. Navodi kako je ubojstvo Patricea Lumumbe bio samo startna pozicija odnosa Zapada prema afričkom kontinentu.
I think colonialism was never a way. So the very fact that they wanted to assassinate Patricea Lumumbu is because he was a sovereign leader who wanted the riches of the Congo to also benefit its own population. But it was taken as the ground zero of how the West was about to deal with the riches of the continent of Africa, and the neo-colonial grab keep control of that continent.